The storm had been raging for hours. Winds howled across the barren fields surrounding the village of Alcaria, rattling shutters and tearing branches from the ancient olive trees. The villagers whispered that such storms were omens, signs that something unnatural was about to happen. And they were right. In a small clay house at the edge of the village, a child was being born. His mother Layla clutched the sheets as the midwife urged her to push, sweat and tears mixing on her exhausted face. Outside, thunder cracked like the roar of a beast, and lightning illuminated the room through the narrow window. When the child finally emerged, his cry pierced the storm. But instead of warmth, an unnatural chill swept through the air. The oil lamps flickered violently, and the midwife gasped, "By God, the air has turned to ice." Layla held her newborn son close, whispering prayers under her breath. She named him Adam, a name of purity, a reminder of new beginnings. Yet everyone present felt the same deep dread. This child was different. His eyes, though he was just a newborn, glimmered with a strange light, as if he carried knowledge far older than his fragile body. Days passed, and the storm subsided, but the whispers in the village did not. Neighbors spoke of the unnatural cold that had filled the room, of the way the lamps had nearly extinguished themselves. Some claimed they saw shadows moving along the walls that night, shadows that didn't belong to anyone there. Layla tried to ignore the gossip, raising Adam with all the tenderness a mother could give. But as he grew, the strangeness became harder to deny. By the time Adam was 5, he began to hear things. At first, they were faint murmurs when he lay in bed, words drifting from the corners of the room. He told his mother, "There are voices, Mama. They say something about a debt." Layla's face paled. She insisted it was only his dreams, but Adam knew better. The whispers grew louder each night, repeating the same chilling phrase, "Your grandfather's debt. Your grandfather's debt." His grandfather, Yusef, had died long before Adam was born. He was remembered as a wealthy merchant who had risen from poverty to riches in a single decade. But his death was sudden, and his fortune vanished just as mysteriously. People said he had secrets, dealings with forces not of this world. Layla never spoke of him, but the whispers seemed to confirm the rumors. At age 10, Adam's curiosity finally overcame his fear. One afternoon, while his mother was away, he searched through an old chest hidden beneath her bed. Inside were relics of Yusef's life, faded photographs, letters, and at the very bottom, a bundle of parchment, tied with a black string. Adam untied it, and his breath caught in his throat. The papers were brittle, stained with something dark dried blood. At the center lay a contract, written in a strange mix of Arabic and Latin, with symbols that twisted unnaturally across the page. At the bottom was Yusef's name, signed in bold strokes, beside a seal that looked like a claw mark. The words chilled Adam to the bone. "I give you my wealth, my years, my power. In return, my bloodline shall pay the debt when their time comes." Adam dropped the papers, his hands trembling. He understood now. His grandfather had bargained with a demonic entity, trading his soul for riches. And the whispers were right. The debt had not ended with Yusef. It had been passed down, waiting for him. That night, sleep was impossible. As he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the room grew cold again. The shadows lengthened, stretching across the walls in unnatural ways. And then he saw him. Standing at the foot of his bed was a figure, tall and cloaked in darkness, with eyes that glowed faintly red. It was his grandfather, or what remained of him. "Adam," the shadow whispered, its voice deep and hollow. "It is your turn. The debt cannot be erased. It must be paid." Adam's heart pounded in his chest. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. The shadow leaned closer, and the air grew heavy, pressing down on him. "You are the coin," it said. "Your blood is the price." Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the shadow vanished. But Adam knew it had not truly gone. It lingered, always watching, always waiting. From that night on, Adam was never alone. He felt its presence everywhere, in the silence of the house, in the rustle of the trees, even in the laughter of other children. He saw faceless figures on the streets and felt icy hands clutching his shoulders. Layla noticed the change in her son. He grew quiet, withdrawn, his eyes haunted. She begged him to tell her what was wrong, but he couldn't speak of the shadow. He feared that saying it aloud would only make it stronger. Years passed, and Adam carried the burden silently. The whispers grew more insistent, a daily reminder. Your soul is the coin. Your blood is the price. One evening, as the sun set, Adam wandered to the old cemetery where Yusef was buried. The grave was unmarked, a forgotten mound of earth. Adam knelt before it, tears streaming down his face,